As you already know, Retell lecture and describe image will have additional layer of check, meaning software may flag your content if it finds some faults or templates, and due to this a human evaluator will cross-verify the content. And if you don't want this to happen, trust me, there is a simple way out. We will still use the template, but in a little different way. We use only one template which fits for all the describe image, one template which fits for all the Retell lecture. Want to know more about the templates that can actually fool software from flagging it? Then make sure you watch the video till the end. Hey everybody, Nakul here from SKILLS PTE ACADEMIC. Really hope everybody is doing fantastic. I'm back with yet another super awesome pop-packed video on the describe image and the Retell lecture, the ultimate solution. Well, before we get into the video, if not subscribed to this channel, kindly click on the subscribe button. Anytime you need online assistance, it's a paid assistance. You can check the information in the description of this video. We left a WhatsApp link. You can click on the link, send us a message. We will do the needful. Alright, without any further delay, let's straight away get right into the video. As you already know, Pearson has made two new announcements in their website that starting from November 4th, your describe image and Retell lecture will have additional layer of check, meaning if software decides that there could be some problem with your content, meaning if you are speaking some generic templates, or you're not trying to speak on your own, or you're speaking only the keywords, or you're speaking less than 20 seconds. For all these things, software will flag the content, meaning a human evaluator will check those content immediately after once it is flagged. And if you have used the templates that software can flag, then trust me, the human evaluator will end up giving 0 to your content, and they have listed down very clearly that if content becomes 0, fluency is 0 and pronunciation is 0. But why would Pearson go to such an extent to target us? It's because they've realized that we are using a lot of templates that actually don't make any sense with respect to describe image or Retell lecture. They've even listed in their website that people often are using the templates such as, there is a beautiful image in front of me, let me have a look at it. By looking closely, all these templates they have clearly listed down in their websites. Not just this, essay also they're talking. Very soon probably they may get into the essay writing as well, but for now the topic of discussion is describe image and Retell lecture. So if the evaluation criteria in the Pearson website for describe image says fluency is equal to 5, content 5, pronunciation 5. Earlier we used to only worry about fluency 5 and pronunciation 5, but now we need to also worry about content is equal to 5. Let me explain more about this content 5 as and when we get further into the video. Let me first start with describe image ultimate solution. Once I finish describe image, then we will move on to the Retell lecture. This is the old template that I shared. It used to work, it used to give you good scores all these years, but myself, I'm not recommending this to use this henceforth, because definitely use this. There is a patch of code already installed in the software exclusively for this kind of generic templates where we are not giving much of the data, or we are giving only the keywords from the image. Avoid using this. I'm again making a bold statement. You got to avoid using these templates for describe image. So before we delve into a new solution, new template, let me just explain you more about the strategy. So now how the software evaluates your responses, you need to understand very, very closely. And I have put in a lot of effort, research over the night for the last 2 days to understand more about what the software would expect from you. And yes, here is what I'm listing the strategy, what software wants from you. Let's check them one by one. The first strategy the software wants from you to give is to give preference to the fluency. This was the earlier case as well, and even now you have to give preference to the fluency, meaning fluency is the one that wins the race. But earlier it was only the fluency in the race. Correct? Fluency was the tortoise. There was no rabbit at all in the race. So when you are the lone person in the race, obviously you are the winner. But now there's one more additional animal called rabbit, called content, has entered the race. So there are two things. One is fluency, one is content. One is tortoise, one is rabbit. But trust me, it's the fluency that wins the race. We know the tortoise and hare story, isn't it? So it's the fluency that wins the race over the content, but just that content has also entered the competition doesn't mean that content wins. Remember, it's a computer at the end of the day. If the computer is only able to deduce that you're giving a generic template, they wouldn't have added this extra layer of checking, that is a manual intervention. Why they're using this additional check from The human is because software is not able to figure out. That means content, it is still not able to 100% verify whether you're speaking to the image or not. This is the clue. This is the catch. Remember this. So having said this, you don't have to worry too much about the content. Also, it means you cannot speak something generic. You have to look into the image and speak. But when you look into the image, don't have to worry too much about the best content, bad content, great content. It's totally fine. Even if you give some bad content or the content which is not so prominent, so prioritized in the image, it's still fine. You will get your scores. If you misinterpret a content, for instance, the population for Japan is shown as 30 million and you told 10 million, is it still fine? Totally fine. Don't worry too much about it. Don't intentionally speak something wrong, but if it goes wrong, something like read aloud, you make a mistake. In the worst case, it's totally fine. What gives you mark is the fluency. This is what the strategy that you need to remember. This is what the strategy that software wants from you guys. Remember this. So we'll continue with the strategies. The software wants you to avoid generic template. That's the strategy number 3. And also avoid keywords template. That's the strategy number 4, because they've clearly mentioned in their website that you need to speak in your own words and sentences, linking words. And they've also mentioned that a response as low as 20 seconds cannot explain every content in the image. So if your response is only for 15-20 seconds, obviously software will mark it as flagged. A human evaluator will come dancing, checking your audios. Remember this. The 5th strategy is about template. Now, can I still use template? 100% yes. But now the template is more of a template that we use in IELTS examination, meaning just a skeletal, meaning the linking words firstly. For instance, furthermore, conversely, on the other hand, in conclusion, just the keywords, just the linking words you can use. The given image represents a beautiful image. Avoid using this. Hope you are getting it. The template only will give you that skeletal. One template you're going to use which has a skeleton, the entire structure. You're going to make use of this for all the images. Very soon I'm going to share that skeleton in just a while. The 6th strategy is one of the most important ones. When you speak, don't worry about grammar. Why is that so? A human evaluator is checking. A human evaluator should also abide by the rules and regulations. Describe image evaluation is with respect to 3 components: content, pronunciation, and fluency. Where is the grammar? There is no 4th component called grammar. There is no 4th component called logic. Let's hope you are getting it right. So it's fine, chill. It's same as the previous one. Avoid using generic templates. They have problems only against generic templates. They don't have problems if you speak something wrong on your own with respect to grammar. Otherwise, they would have mentioned that clearly, isn't it? The 7th strategy is the one that actually boosts your confidence, which I already gave some hint before. Don't have to worry too much about the best content. Give anything from the image. Even if you wrongly interpret the data by mistake, it's absolutely fine. Continue talking about it. This is the most important trick. You adopt this, you will not have fumbles. You don't adopt this, then trust me, you will be more concerned about the content. As a result, the fluency dips down 80% of your brain's capacity. You, let's say, give it to content, then where is the brain's capacity for fluency? We may have to buy another brain for rent, correct? It's still 80% fluency, 20% content. Earlier, it was 100% fluency, 0% content, but now it is 80% fluency, 20% content. Very soon, I'm gonna give you a comprehensive overview for all the different kinds of images, how I speak, the sample best responses, and each and everything. Make sure to watch the video till the end without skipping. And the last, or the 8th important strategy is to speak at least for 25 to 30 seconds, if not 40. 25 to 30, 35 seconds is ideal. If you're speaking for 15-20 seconds, then it's time you change it. Maybe you can take a screenshot of all the strategies that I showed. They are the foundations for the next thing that I'm going to talk about. So when it comes to describe image in IELTS Academic and PTE Academic, we have different kinds of describe images. It could be bar graph, something like this, that one I'm showing you, or it could be line graph, pie chart, table, a process diagram, or a map. So from my experience, I've divided them into 6 different types. There could be, few more like a sunset image, a building image. There could be these kind of surprises, but most probably Pearson will not give something like that if they are expecting a lot of content from you. They would have given you enough content which will further ease the process. But yes, these are the 6 different kinds of images that I can think of. Now for all these 6 different kinds of images, first thing is we cannot use a generic template. Then what can we use? I'm going to reveal the skeleton structure. Only one is enough. In my previous video, I had given a hint about having different templates for each different kinds of images. That's also absolutely fine. If you want to make use of that, you can make use of it. But for the past 2 days, I've done extensive research on this particular thing, and I realized one template is actually enough. We don't need 6 templates. But yes, in the previous video I've shared 6 templates. You can make use of 6 different templates for bar graph, line graph, pie chart, table, process diagram, map. If you don't want that, then here is the ultimate solution. One template, one skeleton, one structure for all the images. Let's start with it. So this is the structure that I'm talking about. The image provided is a dash. Nakul, template, this is not template. So you go to a random person and ask the person to just talk about an image that you show. He would say, this image talks about. So these are the linking words. Next is while x-axis talks about, the y-axis talks about. It is evident that conversely, another interesting point is, overall the image illustrates. These are the linking words. They are not the template. Is it absolutely fine to use them? 10,000% fine to use them, as long as you learn how to fill inside the template. Hope you're getting it. The template needs mean 3 key ideas from you. I'll explain more about the template. The first is introduction. The image provided is, you would have seen an image, it's easy to speak, and then it says that gives information about. Now read the title, it's already there. You don't have to invoke your Albert Einstein's brain or Stephen Hawking's brain to speak the first line. While x-axis talks about, x-axis will be there. Y-axis talks about, y-axis will be there. Whatever you see, just put it across words. Remember that x-axis, y-axis will come only for line graph, bar graph. If it's some other graph like pie chart, table, or if x-axis, y-axis is not given in the picture, then remove this line. Use this line if x-axis, y-axis is there. Usually it comes for line graph, bar graph. For other graphs it will not come, but let's say some other new graph they invented and gave you x-axis, y-axis. Just read this while x-axis talks about, y-axis talks about by looking at the image. Meaning we have finished introduction, wherein we filled the type of the graph, and then that gives information about title, x-axis, y-axis. All this will not need you to put a lot of effort. It's already given in the image very clearly. You just have to read the text. Then where I need to put my brain into it, this is where main details I've listed 3 different things. It is evident that you gotta talk something, mention the highest, whatever you want. It's just that I've written here, mention the highest, because it is easy to find out the highest in a short interval of time. But you want to find something else, anything from the image, it is evident that conversely. Now when I say conversely, I should go opposite of it. That is what your logic says. Your logic is not required. Just say conversely, or you can tweak the template on the other hand and speak something. Then another interesting point is that 3 different sentences, long sentences, meaning lengthy sentences, is what you need to speak for any image. After this, overall the image illustrates. Now you conclude, man. Read the title or whatever it is. It's not very difficult. It's simple. Now let me explain how to speak for all the different kinds of images. Let's start. So the one that I'm showing right now is a bar graph. 25 seconds preparation time, right? Earlier, what we used to do, we used to look at the other people sitting, what they're doing, laughing at them. Now we cannot afford to do that. We got to write something about the image. Now I told you 3 things in the middle. It is evident that conversely, another interesting point. These 3 is what? If you can, you write it down or note it down. 3 things probably I'll talk about in 1980, in the year 1980 for the France. The population was at 55 in millions, 55 millions. What if I speak this wrong as 75 millions? No problem. That is what I will talk. Conversely, in Mexico, the population in 2000 is 80 million. Another interesting point is that randomly I'll take 1 or 2 things. Another interesting point is that in UK and Pakistan, the population was quite low, as low as 60 and 70 in the year 2000. These 3 things is what I'm going to speak. But if you forget these things, it's totally fine. You just come up with something new, or you can write it down somewhere, these things, and just read it. Now 25 seconds is done. I'm going to show how I do it. Trust me, I'm not prepared for this. I spoke this in my Thursday's class once. And the video I'm doing is Saturday morning. I've completely forgotten this image, but let me give a try. When I give a try, all I have in my mind is, don't worry about the content. Whatever is, just start. If you worry too much about the content, there won't be any space left in my Albert Einstein's brain or Stephen Hawking's brain to focus on the fluency. Hope you're getting it. Let me give a try. The image provided is a bar graph that gives information about population in the year 1980, 1990 and 2000 across countries such as France, UK, Mexico, Nigeria and Pakistan. While x-axis talks about the countries such as France, UK and Mexico, y-axis talks about the population in millions from 0, 10 up till 90. It is evident that in France in the year 1980, the population was as low as 50 millions. Conversely, in Mexico in the year 2020, the population was at 80. Another interesting point is UK and Pakistan. from the year 1980 till 2000, the population remains very low. Overall, this image illustrates the population across various countries such as France, UK, Mexico from the year 1980 till the year 2000. Is it so difficult to speak? If you observe, I'm just continuing it. I'm not really bothered about the content. If you observe, I told 2020. Is it fine? Software will not flag me, guys. It's the same software at the end of the day. Another patch of code they have added. That code will decide if you're using a generic template. They have problems only against you using generic template, not against you. Remember this, understand this. You use a generic template, it will flag. You speak from the image. Yes, while speaking, it is difficult to focus too much on every content. Sometimes we wrongly interpret. Absolutely fine, it will not penalize you for this. It will give you 5 out of 5 for content. Just like in read aloud, you make one mistake, it will not penalize you that harsh. So the same way here, it's the same computer, same AI, just that additional layer of code has been added which prompts human evaluator to take care from the next time. As simple as that. Hope you got the clarity. Now we will go to line graph and let me show you how I handle it. So this is a line graph, 25 seconds. Now do we need it? I think let's take it up. So probably I'll talk about 3 things. Something like in October 2019 the product sales was 30,000. In March it came down to very low, that is only 10,000, and in June 2020 the product sales went to 85, 90, whatever it is. June 2020, what if I forget? You say June 1990, man. But don't fumble. Now let's start. The image provided is a line graph that gives information about product sales in thousands USD from October 2019 till the June 2025. While the x-axis talks about all the months starting from October 2019 till the June, the y-axis talks about the product sales in thousands. It is evident that in October 2019, the product sales was only 30,000. Conversely, in the month of March 2020, the product sales came really low, that is only 10,000. Another interesting point is in June 2020, the product sales was at the highest, which is 85. Overall, this image illustrates product sales in thousands from October till June. It's not difficult, it's easy. You may think, oh, this guy has practiced a lot. And no, man, only once. Trust me on this, I swear, only once I spoke in my class. You can also do it. All the template sample responses, the link in the description, you can click on it or you can take a screenshot, doesn't matter. Practice with the hope that it will come. If you practice with a hope that, the hope so strong that they don't get it, then how it will come? So practice with a hope, with a faith, with a trust that, okay, this will come. I can also speak like this guy who is standing tall and confidently speaking. If this is your thought, it will come because it's a easy peasy one. We're still using a template, but in a different way that AI cannot intervene or AI cannot flag it. Let's start with the pie chart. So this is a pie chart. 25 seconds now not required. I think we can start. The image provided is a pie chart that gives information about number of participants per game such as Monopoly, Candyland, Jenga, chess and etc. It is evident that Monopoly and Candyland have 21% and 23% respectively the number of participants for each game. Conversely, for Uno, Poker and Twister, the number of participants is quite as low as 4%, 7% and 19%. Another interesting point is chess and Jenga have approximately 15% and 11% number of participants per game. Overall, this image illustrates the number of participants per game for Monopoly, Candyland, Uno, Poker and Twister. You just speak, man. I think now you are getting confidence, right? I hope you're getting confidence. If yes, please leave a comment. And trust me, when you type, yes, I'm getting confidence, the subconscious of it actually gets a boost. All these are the real things. So I sometimes ask people to comment. All right, we go to the next one. So the next is a table. This is a table. I think we can quickly start. But if you want, you can just have a look at it. It says the proportion of income adults and children spent on food. How much money you're spending on food? 5%, 25%. Adult men, you choose whatever you want. Let's say you want to speak about adults, you want to speak about boys, girls, what to speak, anything. 3 sentences. Okay, the image provided is a table that gives information about the proportion of income adults and children spent on 4 common items in the UK in the year 1998. It is evident that adults have spent 25% on food, 5% on electronic equipment and 5% on music. Conversely, boys and girls have spent very low percentage on food, which is 9% and 11%. Another interesting point is that women and children have spent 5% on music, 0.5% on videos, 39% on music, 12% on the videos. Overall, this image illustrates the proportion of income adults and children or various categories. Just go in a flow. As simple as that. Whatever the things you're applying for read aloud, the same thing you got to apply here. In read aloud, you're going at a rhythmic speed. In describe image, I am not. Marks will go down. It's the same thing, whatever you did in the read aloud, the same way you should perform with respect to describe image content. You give whatever you want from the image. Next, we're going to talk about the process diagram. So this is the process diagram. Here you just have to go in a flow, man. Just read that cement production, limestone crusher, clay mixer, powder, rotating heater. Now you interpret the way you want it. It's limestone, clay and crusher are mixed into a mixer. You can say mixer is mixed into a limestone, whatever you want. Logic is not going to make sense as long as you speak in your own words and speak something relevant to the question, but be fluent. Let's start. The image provided is a process diagram that gives information about cement production and concrete production. It is evident that limestone crusher and clay are mixed into the mixer, which are then powdered and then pushed into rotating heater to produce heat, which is then grinded to produce bags called cement bags. Conversely, concrete production also takes place on the other hand with 15% of cement and 10% of water. Another interesting point is sand 25% and gravel 50% are mixed into a concrete mixer producing concrete production. Overall, this image illustrates the steps to produce cement and concrete. Just speak, it will come when you practice in this flow using this template. We quickly move on to a map. This is the map. Let's start. The image provided is a map that gives information about range, breeding, wintering and year round. It is evident that in Canada, the range breeding is the most. Conversely, in South America, the wintering range is the least. Another interesting point is during spring, people from South America would move to Canada and North America, and during fall, people from Canada and North America would move to South America. Overall, this image illustrates the range and the migration of spring and fall between Canada, North America and South America. You have to go in a flow. Whether you're speaking perfectly from the image or not is not going to make a huge difference towards your scores. Well, if you try to speak perfectly from the image, you will not be able to get scores because you will fumble. Not even once I fumbled. And trust me, I have all spoken this image only once on Thursday's class. Today is Saturday. I have actually forgotten what I spoke, but still I'm able to speak. So this is the truth. This is the trick. The next what I'm going to show is a scenery picture. I really wish you don't get that. But let's say you got a picture wherein there is no data mentioned, no numerics mentioned. What can I do? Just observe how I speak. So 25-second preparation time. 3 sentences is what I need. First sentence is there are 2 boats on the water which are close to the road. Second sentence, there are a lot of trees which are marked in green which are very close to the building. Another interesting point is this is quite a big city and looks like it is Paris from my experience. If not Paris, it could be some other city. These 3 sentences is what I'm going to speak. Let's start. The image provided is a scenery that gives information about 2 boats, water and a huge building. It is evident that there are 2 boats on the river and the river is very close to the road. Conversely, there are a lot of trees painted in green and next to the trees there are so many buildings. Another interesting point is the city looks like Paris or France, and if I'm not sure, it could be Italy in Milan. Overall, this image illustrates the scenery which has boats, rivers, road, trees and big building. So I was continuous. I did not fumble. Maybe towards the end, little my speed went down. It's totally fine. I was still going in a rhythm. Hey, that's all. Describe images, man. What more can we expect? This is what it is, and most importantly, it is not a priority module. It's hardly 10 marks. You skip all the describe images, still you can get speaking 90. But don't do that because there is a very easy way to do it. But if you speak something using a generic template, intentionally marks will go down. This is the truth. I hope there is no doubt. If you still have doubts, do leave your comments in the comment section. Next video, I'll come up with fixes for all of your doubts. Please do leave your comments in the comment section. Now we will move to Retell lecture. In the Retell lecture as well, the update is avoid using generic templates, keywords, the clearly mentioned keywords. And since 6 years, you watch any of my videos, man, have I not told you not to use keywords? You've been telling people to use phrases for better scores, and now that's what Pearson explicitly told in their websites, which I used to say since 6 years. So if you're following my strategy, follow the same, write phrases or keywords. What is the strategy? Listen for 5 seconds, write for 5 seconds, listen and write. Don't do it together. Why you are unable to write phrases by listening to the audio? Because you're focusing too much on the audio. When you do 2 things at once, listening and writing at the same time, then you will mess it up both. You can't even listen, you can't even write. You listen for 5 seconds. Now decide, oh, this is what I'm going to write. Now you just start writing. When you write that, close your ears, man. Don't listen, don't focus on the content that is missed. Important content I missed, it totally fine. Chill, just write. Once you finish writing for 5 seconds, start listening. When you listen, don't write. When you write, don't listen. This is what I've been telling you. You can check my other videos, little lecture videos. Just follow that. but change the template. Do I recommend changing my previous template? Well, this is the template that I showed earlier. This is absolutely fine, but it has some lengthy sentences. I'm 100% sure that you use the template, you use some sentences on your own, like lengthy sentences or phrases, 2 phrases for each. Absolutely fine. Software cannot flag, because this is fine, man. This is not a generic template. But if you're worried, even I am worried that you may be worried in your mind, and if that is causing problems, anxiety, then stop using it. But again, I'm telling you, you want to go ahead with it, you go ahead, absolutely fine. But then if you don't want to risk it, if you don't want to get that headache whether I get it or not, then I'm going to give you a concise, a small template, a compressed version of this, which has more of linking words and not like a template, which is a skeleton. So this is how the template looks like. The lecture discusses. Now you go to a random person and ask a person to listen to an audio and start speaking back to retell the audio. You would use this. Pearson in their website, they've given some sample perfect responses. It has, in conclusion, the speaker said. So you can use this, but write also something on your own and speak that back. The lecture discusses. In the beginning, the speaker explained about. Later, the speaker said. Here, the speaker also mentioned. In conclusion, the lecture effectively summarized. These 5 lines, can I repeat for all the questions? Yes. Describe image, can I use that one template and repeat for all the questions? Software will not catch. Guys, that's what. You fill it on your own, no problem. You're not filling it on your own, just using template, one word, then it will catch. Remember this. So that's all the template for Retell lecture. The rest of the strategies remain the same. When you speak, don't worry too much about the grammar. Human evaluator may check if software flagged, but he checked for fluency, not for content. Whatever the things that I've told before, continue using the same, absolutely no problem. Just that template you change. For Retell lecture, if you really need, otherwise you can still use the previous one, but yes, I would recommend to use the new one. And for describe image, change it completely like the one I have showed today in this comprehensive video. If you think the video is informative, please give a thumbs up, because within a short interval of time, it's so difficult editing that. This is Diwali, nobody was available. I myself had to sit with one more person over the night, make this, finish it off, lot of stuff. If you think the video was informative and was on time, leave your valuable comments in the comment section with a thumbs up, like, share and subscribe. With this, I'll park the video here. This is Nakul, Nakul, Nakul signing off from Skills PTE. Soon we'll be back with another big video, something like this. Until then, take care, bye-bye. Thanks much.